God's written an answer for us, and that's the 119th Psalm that we're looking at right now. And I'm going to start with you in verse 49, and I want you to see with me as we read these verses together that God says, I have a plan for your life. That's what we're looking at. Last week we started looking at the statutes of the Lord. When His Word is filling our lives, He teaches us His divine plans. What are His divine plans? Well, let's learn about them this morning. Psalm 119, we're going to start in verse 49 and read down to 56. Verse 49, remember the word to your servant, upon which you have caused me to hope. This is my comfort, here we go, in my affliction. Your word has given me life. The proud have had me in great derision, but I don't turn aside from your law. I remember your judgments of old, O Lord, and have comforted myself. Indignation has taken a hold of me because of the wicked. They forsake your law. And your statutes have been my songs in the house of my pilgrimage. And I remember your name in the night, O Lord, and I keep your law. And this has become mine because I kept your precepts. Back to verse 50. Here's my comfort when I'm afflicted. Your word gives me life. I want to remind you of what we're doing. We started last week. I introduced this idea in verse 71. If you want to look across the column there, it said, it's good for me that I've been afflicted, that I might learn your statutes. That's the word we're studying. There are 10 words in the 119th Psalm that describe the Bible. The law, the testimonies, the precepts, the statutes, and on through the commandments and the word, and all those concepts that we've been studying that all describe God's revelation to us. And in verse 71, where we actually launched in the study of affliction last time, it said, it's good for me that I've been afflicted. That's how I learn your statutes. And we understand that the word, the Hebrew word that stands behind the English word statutes, means God's divine plans. God has plans. They're kind of like a schematic, a blueprint. They're the engineering drawings for how life is to be lived, ultimate life, the way He intended it to be. And so verse 71 says, to understand or learn those plans, it's good that we be afflicted. Now, what is affliction? Well, let's start out first by looking at every time it's in the 119th Psalm. And if you want to, I encourage you to do what I did many years ago. I was sitting in seminary class, and I remember in a creativity class, somehow Dr. Hendricks got all wound up, and he took his Bible and he turned it for us to see, and he says, you guys need to mark your Bibles like I do. And he showed us his Bible, and what he did is he circled all the repeated words and drew these lines between them. And so I still have that in my Bible on affliction. So I'm going to show you all the afflictions, and you can circle them, and if you're real brave, you can connect them all, just like we'll help you, and just like I do, so you can see this pattern. Verse 50 as the first one, this is my comfort, my affliction. So if you circle that, that's the first of 7 times affliction occurs in the 119th Psalm. Remember, 7 is a number of divine completion. Here's a complete set of messages we learn when we're afflicted. So here's the first one, verse 50. The second time it occurs in 67. Psalm 119, verse 67. If you want to circle it, it says, before I was, and there's the word to mark, afflicted, I went astray. But now I keep your word. Then the next time it occurs is in verse 71. It is good for me, I've been afflicted. That's number 3 of the occurrences. The next one's in verse 75. I know, O Lord, that your judgments are right, and that in faithfulness you have, and there's the word, afflicted me. And then verse 92 has the fifth occurrence is in 92, and it says, unless your law had been my delight, I would have perished. In other words, I would have gotten squashed or buried by my affliction. And then verse 107 is the 6th time this occurs of the 7. I am afflicted very much. Revive me, Lord, according to your word. Common theme, the only thing that pulls us out of being crushed by affliction is trusting His word. And the last one is in verse 153. There's the 7th time, and if you want to circle that one, it says, consider my afflictions and deliver me. And so because I've strung them together with a line, every time I see the 119th Psalm, I see the pattern, the connection between these, and actually rehearse in my mind the purposes that I'm afflicted. And that's why if you really listen, this could be something that will track with you for the rest of your life, because I'll tell you a little secret. Afflictions continue to the end. In fact, one of the afflictions that we go through is the deterioration of our body. It works less and less like it used to. And so we have a choice either with that to say, Lord, thank you. You're loosening me from more and more things on this earth, and preparing me more fully for heaven. Or we can just lament all that we can't do anymore, and we can get discouraged and depressed. It's a choice we make, and affliction puts us in the furnace where we can learn that.